Hi there. Thanks for having me today. I'm Nicole Brewster. I'm the president and CEO of Renforth Resources. We trade on the CSE under the symbol RFR and OTC New York RFHRF. We have several assets in the company. The two leaders right now are our Parbec gold deposit on the Cadillac Break, contiguous to the Canadian Malartic Mine in northwestern Quebec. And we also have our Surimeau district property, which is 260 square kilometers, also contiguous to the Canadian Malartic Mine, hosting several areas of polymetallic, specifically battery minerals, mineralization. So we have cobalt, nickel, copper, and zinc, amongst others.
Nicole, good to see you again. So, well, we saw each other in September, not so long ago, is it really? Want to speak to you. You've gone green. I thought you were a gold company. What's happening?
Well, we had staked some properties more than a year ago now, and we staked them as we divided our Malartic West property, where we made a copper silver discovery about 2 years ago now. We divided it in half to carve off the gold part from the copper silver discovery, which is about 3 kilometers south of the Cadillac Break. And in doing so, added claims which were previously explored. In total, we now have 6 areas of previously explored mineralization. They were explored for gold, and they did get gold numbers. But what they also got were copper, nickel, zinc, cobalt. Well, they didn't assay for the cobalt, but they assayed for the copper. So I knew that there was base metals mineralization. So we took all those claims together, 260 square kilometers now, and we started doing some exploration to validate the historic data and create our own. And fundamentally, we discovered what was hiding in plain sight. Houston, high grade copper and nickel, had been drilled by Hecla in the 80s. And more interestingly, Victoria West, it's a geophysical anomaly, which I wanted to stake the entire anomaly. It's about 20 kilometers long, and in the western 5 kilometers is the Victoria showing, and then in the east is the colony showing 20 kilometers away. And there's about a 14.5 kilometer question mark between the two. But it's quite exciting because we actually just recently finished stripping Victoria, and it's battery metals mineralization near surface. We're no deeper than 100 meters vertical in our drilling, but it's continuous over 5 kilometers. So is it continuous over 20? That's the question mark. But this kind of fell in our laps. So did we go green? No, we're not switching our name. We've got assets. It's not a PR game.
Well, you're not switching a name, but your PowerPoint's gone exceedingly green, and I'm trying to work out: is this just switching to green because that's the topic of the moment, and distracting from what you were doing before, or is this real? In which case, how real is it?
No, this is real. This is also complex because now, as you point out, we're telling 2 stories. We're telling a gold story, which is real, and we're telling this battery metals story at Surimeau. We've been to 4 of the 6 mineralized areas on the property. We've sampled at each of them copper, nickel, cobalt, platinum, palladium. I mean, we really have something. We feel the Victoria system is similar to the Outokumpu model in eastern Finland, where it's an ultramafic, which is carrying nickel and cobalt, intermingled or juxtaposed against a VMS, which is giving us copper and zinc. And we know we have platinum and palladium in our surface sampling. We haven't tested our drill core for platinum palladium yet. So no, it's very real. It's not a PR thing.
I mean, you could excuse people for thinking, well, maybe it is, because if you look at what's going on with Parbec, for instance, right? You've got a gold project there, nice grades. You've done some nice drill results coming out of there, and we've talked on a few occasions about what you're doing there. But it's a waiting game, right? That's a waiting game for you. And precious metal didn't do its thing like everyone expected in 2021. I think 2022, the expectations possibly slightly different. But you're in some meaningful way, you're out of control there. So a news story is what you wanted, but a green news story, is that what you wanted?
Well, my job's exploration. I don't get to pick. right? So, I mean, we've got the assets, we found the assets, we've discovered what was hiding in plain sight. So we'll damn well go make the best of it, right? So it is what it is. I'm not, I don't need it to be a certain color. I just need it to be economic.
Okay, so let's talk about that. If Parbec doesn't sell, or you can't monetize it in whatever way you can monetize that this year, where's the money come from to develop this copper, cobalt, nickel story at Surimeau?
Good question. We've got funds on hand. We'll likely do small fundraising to augment those funds on hand as the quality of the assets allows us to do that. And we still have our securities in Radisson that we hold in our account. So at some point we could choose to monetize those as well. We've got optionality. We don't have any, we've got no option costs. We got no significant cash burn. CFO and myself get paid shares still. So we can choose, we can budget pretty aggressively. We don't have property payments to make or anything like that.
Right. So the burn is de minimis. That's true. And thank you for reminding me, you guys get paid in shares. So you're not taking any cash out of the company at the moment for yourselves?
No.
Amazing. Okay, good. Really strong. If you do go and raise some money, how do you allocate it? Do you say, do you know what, we've done enough at Parbec? Parbec, we know the way we're going to play that. Let's get hot and heavy on Surimeau and try and tell a story. Given the narratives in the marketplace at the moment, do you think that could actually be the better play, or do you still have a bit of work to do at Parbec?
Still straddling two stories. Again, it's made things complex, right? So Parbec, you're right. It's a waiting game. Gold has not performed. Our neighbors are nearby, spinning through their ounces. So we'll work Parbec a little bit. We're going to do a structural study. Parbec's interesting. It has a rock type we call magnetic diorite in it. That rock type was the foundation of the East Malartic and the Barnett mines historically. Those mines are now within the Canadian Malartic open pit. It's a very high-grade rock type. It seems to be lensy. It's going to have a structural control. We've never done any structural work at Parbec. So we'll have the academic exercise. It's a very technical and slow exercise carried out at Parbec. And in addition, our near-term plans for Parbec are to do some additional sampling. The recent 15,000 meters we just drilled highlighted some areas which should have been sampled. There's no visual, you can't visually ascertain the gold content at Parbec. The rock is all fundamentally sedimentary rock that's been subject to different degrees of alteration. Looks the same. It's all shades of gray. So we will be doing additional assaying, and that will also, again, immediately deliver value to the project. So that those two items are going to carry us probably halfway through next year, in all honesty. We'd look to drill on the basis of the structural report, but that's pretty much out in the future. More immediately, Surimeau is our focus, as you say. You're correct. There's a lot to do. If memory serves, we've only put about 4,600 meters drilling into the 2.2 kilometers we drilled at Victoria West. We drilled 2.2 kilometers of a 5-kilometer sampled structure, our own work in historic, little bit of historic drilling. We have a question mark from Victoria West to the east, where Colony is mineralized with copper, nickel, platinum, and palladium, cobalt. We have a question mark in the middle, very low relief, no outcrop we've found as yet. So we'll be looking to answer that question, what's happening there. Houston, the last program we just finished, where we stripped 275 meters of Victoria West and we aggressively channel sampled it. I want to say we cut 42 channels, but I'm not positive. We went to Houston and we hand stripped about 25 square meters of Houston. What we did when we got the high-grade copper and nickel was there was a diorite with a quartz vein running through it. The geologist grab sampled the quartz vein, and then just for fun, he grab sampled the diorite. The diorite ran, which is good because there's implications of size with diorite, which there is not with quartz veins. So we went back, he cleared off the diorite, and we did a bunch of sampling there. So Houston, we'll see what those samples give us. And we'll probably look to do more work at Houston. We're going to fly EM at EM Mag and LiDAR at Victoria West. We're going to fly from Victoria West to Colony. We're also going to fly to the north. The Lalonde showing, which we've sampled, which is mineralized, it's 3 kilometers north of Victoria West. We don't know if there's a relationship between them. It is also on its own aeromag trend. So we're going to fly more detailed EM because it'll see the sulfides better, and more detailed mag, and cover all 3 of those mineralized areas. We'll do that early in the new year as well, and that'll give us meat for our next bit of exploration. Hopefully in that 14 kilometer question mark where there's no outcrop to guide us.
Okay, so
lots going on. There's stories at once.
There's lots going on, but it's of the type that retail pay little attention to because they don't really understand it. They understand drilling, right? You put out some really nice results this year at Parbec, for instance. Like, I know you're twinning and you're looking at historic data and you're having to do some work, right? 11.75 at 3.3. You've got 22 meters at 3 grams. You've got 9.5 meters at over 4.5 grams. Some nice numbers there that should kind of catch the eye, but for whatever reason, they're not. It's not working for you. So what do you do about that? How do you get people interested in the story again?
Well, Parbec, there were some excellent numbers that came off of it. 6 of the holes were twins. Everything else was new. We did infill. We drilled on section we'd never drilled. Didn't do a lot of down dip work. And I have to represent or look to present differently the Parbec model to people because there's a gap within the model with down dip extension versus the resource, the existing out-of-date resource, which only includes, it does not include all the drilling in the 80s and 90s. Our twinning validates that drilling. A next 43101 would include that drilling. But that resource is 80% of it's above a depth of 300 meters. We have deeper pierce points, and we have a big band of question mark between the deeper pierce points and the existing resource. I need to show that to people and show them where there's value add to be done with some deeper drilling. As well, in terms of exciting investors, we will be doing some additional drilling prior to the year end.
Okay. How many meters?
That'll be, pardon me?
How many meters?
Oh, it's just a wee little program. We're going to hit the ground running December 1st and drill until about December 20th. So how many meters can they drill is really the question. We don't know this driller. It's a new driller. I've just okayed 1,120 meters at Surimeau of drilling under our stripped area, as well as undercutting a couple holes that gave us some interesting results. It'll all add data to what we know about Surimeau. But it'll literally be how many meters can they fit in before Christmas.
Okay.
So. Okay.
Do you know what I mean? It feels like you're going about things the right way. You are, but it feels like a science project and not enough of the overlay of the promotion. Like I'm not a fan of over promotion, but you're got to get the balance right, don't you?
I'm working with a communications fellow because yes, we've ascertained that I appeal very much to the research investor, the investor who wants to read the data and formulate their own opinion, because that's kind of who I am, I guess.
Yeah.
Like attracts like, right? How do you get the more speculative investor? How do you make things sexier? I mean, I'm very literal, so I am trying to alter the language I use a little bit to make it a bit sexier, a bit more exciting. It's funny because there's the juxtaposition of timelines, right? The market wants immediate gratification, yet we're doing science, we're doing mineral exploration. It's not a world of immediate gratification. So it's kind of interesting to try and manage the timelines as well.
Got to get the balance right for sure. Well, look, I like what you're doing on a fundamentals basis. Keep doing that. I'm intrigued as to how you solve the funding gaps as they appear, because the more you do, the more it's going to cost you, and you need to go back to market. You don't necessarily want to be doing it at 20 million market cap.
It'll be more of what you've seen me do for a little while until the such time as the stock price appreciates a little bit. My MO is to only raise small amounts of money, which I can really deploy pretty instantaneously. I don't need, again, our burn rate's so low, we don't need to go out and fund multiple millions of dollars at once because we just can't put it in the ground that fast.
Do you guys do drill for equity over there?
You can, we won't. But like our all-in drilling costs, I'm waiting to see, new driller numbers will change a little bit, but our all-in drilling cost per meter where we're drilling, the last number was probably about $135 a meter all in.
That's good.
There are variables there. The fewer moves, the longer holes get, the deeper the rate changes, downtime, stuff like that. But rule of thumb, we're about $135, maybe $150 a meter drilled. So we can run extremely small programs very efficiently.
Yeah, that's a good number. Well, look, stay in touch. Let us know how you get on with all of this, because, like I say, it's getting to a point. You guys need to start showing the market that you can move these projects forward. And I guess what's going to help you, certainly with Parbec, is that you're moving into a very positive gold environment for 2022, by all accounts, it seems. Conversation seems
and the structural, unlocking the magnetic diorite or the structural controls, because all our exploration work to date's been on the basis of grade alone.
Yeah.
I.e., if we have a good hole, let's step off it and drill again. And we know there are flat line faults within the deposit, and they're well-established regional faults. And now we have a splay of the Cadillac Break. So it's very much a structural environment. And I think with that piece of information, and then we test it, that changes Parbec drastically.
Great stuff. I look forward to hearing all about it. Nicole, as always, thank you very much for your time. Good luck with that. We'll see you in the new year, okay?
Perfect. Thanks very much.